So this is episode 5 of Python Learn With Me. As you learn with me, as we learn with we. Today we're going to be going over introspection, which is the art of making Python reflective. Yes, Python is reflective. It has an object model that everything is inheriting from, so that makes it reflective. But I also think that Python could potentially like to sit out at the beach with one hand on his chin, the other hand on the hip, and think long and hard about itself as it introspects. So let's look at this introspection business, huh? All right, cool. So I'm going to do something different. Today we're going to be working in the terminal. Full disclosure, I'm not going to be going over too much here for many reasons, but for the most part, because I don't know if I can, but I will share what I can. All right, so here we go. So today we're working in the terminal, and as we know, the terminal has manage.py shell plus. Going into Django, then I'm going to grab myself an object. What type of object do I want to grab? I would say from, what is this? Give myself access to this bad boy right here. Cool. Actually no. Alright. So I got myself an object, and I am going to do the very first thing. So I have an object now, and I want to know what methods are available on this object. Actually, I didn't make an instance of the object. I just imported the object as this other object, and now I've referenced that object by this local variable called object. Let's see. Can we instantiate this? Actually, let's see. Can we instantiate it? Callable obj true. First step, figure out if the object is callable. You can use the method callable to do that. All right, so it is callable. Now, what methods are on the object? Dir. You use dir to figure that out. We have here a pretty printed list of methods that are available to this object. Cool. There is an init on this object. What's another way that I could have found out that there was an init on the object? Okay. So obj. So hasattr, right? And then obj, and then the method that you want to check out. Let's say init hasattr, the object, the method that you want to check out. That is how you figure out if something has the method. But another way is to use dir. I use dir reflexively. That's just what I always use, but you can also use hasattr. There's another method that is similar to hasattr. It's in the same family of methods, and it's called getattr. So let's see what happens when you do this. From my knowledge, this will return the function itself, and you can inspect that. So I'm going to say inspect. All right, cool. So it gave me the object, and actually the function, and I can figure out what it is if I do type. So type inspect. It's a function, and as it is a function, you would expect it to be callable, so we'll just call callable again and just say inspect. Cool. So this is an actual function. Can we pass anything to it? Inspect takes an argument, let's say quarks, keyword arguments. Let's say does instance. So I need an instance. So let's say a better way to do it. Here's a really good way to do it. So Python has an inspect class module. It's actually a module. I'm gonna say import inspect from inspect. So we don't have a naming collision. I'm gonna say import inspect as inspector. So I can keep using that object that I stored as inspector. So we have inspector here. All right, cool. Inspector has a thing called signature. So inspector, let's pass inspect there. Module object is not callable. So inspect type inspect. So and type gave us the information that inspect was a function, and now inspector is telling us that it's not really the case, it's a module. And actually, because that is the case, I'm going to say inspector dot signature and then inspect. Let's see if that gives us anything. Inspect. There we go. So the signature of inspect is that it takes itself an instance, and then data, and then keyword arguments. So we can see how to call this thing. What type of methods are available on inspect? So we'll just do it again. Dir inspect. So again, these are all dunder methods, which leads me to believe that inspect is not something you call just randomly by itself. But perhaps we can call on inspect. So let's say if we do inspect, okay, inspect, and we want to call it, because it has the dunder method call here that we can use. We want to call it, we're going to call it with an instance, let's say an instance of itself. This should be recursive, and that should not work. So this blows up, and it gives us this dunder new method, which is coming from serializers pi, which I'm going to assume is the base class that this method is actually coming from. I said method that's coming from. No, it's not a method, it's a module. I'm calling the module, but I can't call the module without passing it an instance. So I passed it an instance, but the instance that I passed it was itself. Object, I believe, type, object is itself. Yeah, so that was never gonna work. In Django, just so that I can make this a lot easier, in Django, you have serializers that you define, and you can make a serializer inherit from a model or whatever. So you have a model, and then you have a serializer that represents that model, and you pass the model to the serializer so that the serializer could take all the attributes and turn it into JSON output for your programs. That's really what that is. I might have chose the wrong module to check out for this. However, I'm going to go back a step and go back to the object that I imported, which is the Twilio serializer, right? And then I'm going to check that out and see what type of methods are available to that. Cool. Is there any like help that I can get? Twilio. So this is another function. Okay, cool. This is a lot of great information here. So you can't see it, but I can. Take a picture of the apple. Let me see the apple. Hey guys, you see the apple? She loves the apple. The apple looks so cute. It looks so beautiful. Right? Yeah, take this. Take your apple.
No.
All right. I took the picture.
Picture apple.
I took the picture. Look, picture. Cheese. See, I took a picture of the apple. All right. So, what does it say here? The base serializer class provides a minimal class which may be used for writing custom serializer implementations. Note that we strongly restrict the ordering of operations properties that may be used on the serializer in order to enforce correct usage. In particular, if a data equals argument is passed, then dot is valid, available, and all this good stuff. If a data argument is not passed, then these methods are not available. Is valid, initial data, validated data, errors, data. Meaning that you probably want to pass in data to any serializer so that you can use it. Anyway, method resolution order. We talked about this last time, so you know what this is. Data and other attributes defined here. Now, what I want you to know is that this is information coming from the serializer class itself and not specifically the Twilio video off serializer. Twilio video off serializer does not have strings on it that will let us know what it's about. It doesn't have that. Inspect has, hold on. So what I mean by that is if you do this in your class, then you can actually know ahead of time with your code. You can literally check out with your code what something is. So let's say I'm just going to import this real fast, and I'm just going to wrap up this video right here. But let's say I'm going to use this. Okay. And I'm just going to alias it as all right, cool. So I alias the class as this, and now I'm just going to use the inspect, right? Inspect dot get comments, and then I'm going to pass it Sinbird and see what it does. I could have sworn that was available. I think this also does it, so let's see. Cool. So this is actually written on the class itself. I do want to see whether or not it can, because again, we're doing introspection here. Bird. Okay. Oh, get adder. On inspect, we want to see whether it has get comments. So it doesn't have it. Does it have anything like it? Let's see. No. All right. Well, last ditch effort. Inspect. The type of inspect. Function. Inspect itself. Oh, that's not it. We called it inspector. Ah, there we go. And that has get comments on it. Yep, that's right. And then we could pass in Sinbird, and it should give us. Okay, maybe didn't think to give us that. Maybe it can only give us like local scope comments. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. So it only gives you local commentary. But this right here was written on the class itself. And that's complete. That is super useful. There's a lot of classes in Python that have methods on it, and the libraries are written with methods that have comments on them, and you can use help and then pass the method name to help, and then you can find out more information about the method that you're going to call. And then you can use signature to figure out what type of parameters this method takes. You use getattr to figure out whether, to return to you the attribute, the function, or whatever, so that you can use somewhere else. Hasattr to check if it's available. And last thing, locals. So locals, this is all of local variables available in this scope. The scope that we're in right now, I believe, is main, and you can figure that out by calling, I think, name. Name is not defined. Name. You know what? This is a good thing because name should be available in here somewhere. Name. There we go. Ha! Name is available in locals. And then you also have globals. This is the global scope of variables and functions that are available to you. You can check this out and see what's available in the current scope. You can also put variables into the scope, so you can do something like this. I mean, locals, let's say we want to call X, right? X is not defined here, but let's say I put, within locals, I put X equals 1. Build that function. I'm going to do it. Darn it. How do I do it? Let's see. I believe this is how you do it. Yep, there we go. So now X is equal to 1. It's these things are super useful to help you figure out where you are. It helps you get more information of the context so that you can program efficiently. That is it. That is all I got, guys. I really have nothing more to give you. Until next time, Python Learn with me. Peace.